There are numerous principles of public speaking which have been encapsulated in different researches. I have recorded them time and again in different places, but today I'm going to try and consolidate all of them together. So let us begin with principle number one, which is called the halo effect in psychology. Now, this is based on an experiment which was done in which two groups of children were taken and they were given two different photographs, one of a very well dressed woman and the other of a woman who was shabbily dressed. They were also given an essay written by each woman with the photograph, and after looking at the essay and after looking at the photograph, they had to give characteristics of the lady in question. They had to describe her as a person based on what they saw in the essay and what they saw in the picture. Now it was noted that the well dressed lady always got positive attributes, whereas the badly dressed lady always got negative attributes. What was the catch in the entire thing? The catch was that the essays were actually identical. So the people were being rated on how they dressed, not on what they wrote, not on the quality of their thinking. This in psychology is called the halo effect, in which better dressed people are forgiven faster even when they fail. So, to have a good impact in speaking in public, the first and the most important thing is you've got to be dressed presentably. And this goes for all communication. It need not necessarily be for a public speaking interaction. Any kind of communication, if you are presentable, clean. I'm not saying that one has to be trying to look like a film star. All I'm saying is that there has to be presentability on the part of the speaker, which is a sine qua non. This is principle number one. Then we come to, this was the halo effect. Then we come to principle number two, which is based on body language. Now, we believe body language four times as fast as we would believe verbal language. So if you're saying something and if your body language is speaking something else, I will be four times more likely to trust your body language than to trust what you are saying. There is something very closely related to this, and that is called the 7-second principle. It takes just 7 seconds to decide whether you are trustworthy, submissive, and likable. Now, this has been equated and utilized in virtual presentations also, in which people were asked how long it took for them to decide whether they're going to listen to a presentation or not. And the survey showed it was just 3 seconds. So you get a very small window into which to make a first impression. I'm not saying again the first impression is the last impression, but yes, definitely I'm saying first impressions really matter. These are two principles. Then, when we are talking of body language, there is the very famous theory of Amy Cuddy, which says, fake it till you make it. Now, this theory of Amy Cuddy has been popularized because it has this very catchy phrase, fake it till you make it. She's not really saying fake it in terms of lie. What she's saying is that make an overt presentation in your body language which vibes with confidence, and your brain will interpret that in such a way that it will start thinking you are confident, and slowly you will become confident. So this works in the reverse way in psychology, and your brain observes your bodily reactions and interprets them accordingly. She herself says in her video, if you see the video, that fake it till you make it is better interpreted as fake it till you become it. I don't fully agree with this principle because I don't like the word fake. I like to substitute it with practice. What she's saying is practice, practice till you make it. And while you're practicing, please practice your body language as well. We all practice the way we speak, our intonations, our pronunciation, but we don't, and we're not able to, we're not able to school our body language that much. One, because it's really not within our control. Two, because it is a very effortful process. So this is something which has to be remembered. If you're interested in reading something about body language, you can also read Carol Kinsey Goman. Carol, Carol, Kinsey, Kinsey, Goman. She is a writer on body language. And her website, the last time I heard about it, it had 27 lakh 90,679 hits, wherein she said, our brains are hardwired to respond to non-verbal cues, even though most of us are not consciously aware of it. So, body language, I think all speakers know this, but how to do it, that's the tricky question. Now, for example, if you're standing, you have to stand in a relaxed and open fashion. If you are sitting, the moment you do this, people very often sit like this, or they'll get a photograph like this. This cuts off the person from the audience. The moment you're cutting yourself off or driving a barrier between yourself and the audience, you are making yourself prone to what they call the distance effect or the barrier effect, as I call it. Legs, they say, should be uncrossed. Arms should be held away from the body, like I just demonstrated. And the hands, if they're resting comfortably, they'll reflect warmth and empathy. So watch yourself when you're speaking, record yourself, and you will really get an insight into what is being done. Then there are a lot of exercises which we do, which unfortunately cannot be done on the video. I will share another point on body language, which is taken from Vanessa Van Edwards' Human Lie Detection and Body Language book. In this, she has studied leaders in the Western context. Now, I'm very particular when I say she has studied leaders in the Western context because it need not necessarily apply to the Indian context. But nevertheless, I'll share the learnings she's given. One, she says that leaders smile less. Leaders interrupt. Leaders have more eye contact when they are asking you to do something, but when you are speaking to them, they have less eye contact. Then she says, leaders pace less and they hold their head still as they speak. They don't go on nodding. Now I'm going to interpret this in the Indian context. Most of us don't take very kindly to being interrupted, though that they say has been a trait which has been established in leaders. Smiling less is again not typical to our culture, wherein smiling sets the other person, hopefully, at some kind of ease. So when communicating, smile is an asset. They have more eye contact when they are talking to you. That is true to some extent. So when you need to get some work done, it's important that you look at the person who is doing or going to establish the task for you. This was on body language by Vanessa Van Edwards. I'm trying to see, yes. And the last and the most important principle is called the Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours principle. Malcolm Gladwell researched and came up with the golden figure that is, if you do any activity for 10,000 hours, you are bound to become proficient in it. Now, this seems a little circular. It's obvious if I do something for too many number of hours, I will become good at it. But what we have to understand is the essence behind this. And the essence behind this is he's talking of practice. Practice is the golden principle. And that is something which cannot be omitted. These, in short, were the fundamental principles I found based on research in psychology, in public speaking, in communication, not in public speaking only, in communication, which are of immense utility to the speakers. So let us see if we can distill them and we can utilize them in our day-to-day speaking. If you like this, subscribe to my channel and strike the bell icon. Thank you so much.